So this is actually a question from Yahoo Answers, and it's kind of serious in tone. And a person was asking, "How do I feel less lonely?" And I think all of us have times in our life where we feel kind of a little bit lonely or a little isolated, and you got to figure out ways to kind of work around that or work your way out of that. And yeah, I thought this would just be helpful to people who might struggle with this once in a while. I do sometimes. I kind of keep to myself. I like to work on stuff alone because I can focus more. But yeah, I understand where this person's coming from.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to offer some advice. I'll throw it to you first. Do you have what do you do when you're feeling lonely to kind of get out of that?
It's tough. So, like, one of the loneliest, like, moments I think I had was last year, April 4th, my birthday.
Yeah.
I was living up here with a roommate, and
Your birthday is the day before my birthday.
we've known this. Come on, Dustin.
I must have forgot.
He
Anyway.
hates me. Anyways, I went home for my birthday, I guess. You know, like, I was going home every weekend back then. And we hung out and did whatever. But my birthday was like a Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And so I come back up to San Francisco, and I'm with my... I just, like, go home after work, and I was just like... I don't know, my wife must have been somewhere, but I'm just like, man, this is like... This sucks. Like, It's your birthday, but it's like I was choosing to do this other thing. And so that's probably one of the, like, loneliest where you're just like, you know, me and my roommate didn't really hang out much. Mm-hmm. How to combat it? I don't really know. Try to, like, play a video. I would say, like, try to play a video game. Because, like, when I first moved up here, I lived in San Francisco. And if I felt lonely, like, one time I just, like, got on the bus and went to, like, the Embarcadero. That almost just made it worse.
Really?
Like,
Why?
just trying to do something.
Yeah.
But, like, by yourself. And so then, like, I don't know, kind of like you go to a crowded spot and, like...
You see people with friends or whatever.
Yeah, like, everybody's with somebody and you're like, oh, this is making it worse, you know?
Well,
like,
let me tell you how I combated this, because it sounds like you might have struggled with these feelings too sometimes, and that's fine. We all do. I read a lot about what do you do when you're lonely? Like, how do you improve your life and not have those feelings anymore? And for me... So what I did was I just started doing stuff, like stuff that I would be interested in. That's a big reason why I was running so much, you know? It's like, you know, I don't talk to a lot of people or anything. And if you're ever invited to something, just go. Even if it turns out not to be fun, it's a good way to make contacts. Like, just help yourself get out there.
See, here's my thing. So, like...
I have more.
No. I want to touch on that, though.
Yeah.
Like... When you're... So, I mean, people self-label themselves and stuff, but it's like, I liked being at home.
Yeah.
A lot. You know what I mean? Like, I like just hanging out by myself. So it's like, I don't get that feeling a lot because a lot of my time is spent by myself. Mm-hmm. And so what I kind of did was last year, I went to a Halloween party that some coworkers were having, and I don't know, that somehow kind of like almost made me feel worse.
Why?
Again, because I don't know, because it's just like, again, you're just putting yourself like, it was people that I ended up not really knowing that well.
Yeah.
And I did have like friends there, but they know the other people well, and I don't know. So then you're just kind of like, I like hung out with his dog, you know, and like, just sat there and like watched TV because you're just kind of like, and it's not like everybody was being super inviting. I ended up talking to one of the dude's like wives for like ever, but like, so someone who I like did not expect to like hang out with, but at the same time, you're like, when that conversation's over, you're just like, yep. I don't know anyone well enough here.
I get what you're saying about parties. Parties can kind of be like that sometimes because like everybody wants to talk to multiple people, so it's just like you're running around. But so just having read online and having studied this a lot, it's just basically like try a whole bunch of stuff. Try meetups. Try go to parties. Take a course that you might be interested in. Like I'm still considering taking surfing lessons, and I actually ended up meeting somebody. I was dating at the time, and I was trying a lot of new stuff. Tried out Tinder. I went on a few dates, and actually met somebody fantastic. So I do stuff with her now. But originally, I was just like, I was running. I was going to parties and stuff at night just to meet new people, hanging out with old friends, just like one-on-ones with people that you get along with.
Sure.
And if you don't get in those awkward situations at parties like you were just describing, you're never going to make those connections with
It's just hard seeing, like, some people are just like social butterflies, you know what I mean? Like
I'm not. I get pretty reserved.
Right. And so it's like, I won't name people, but we have people at our work, and we had a new guy start, and he's just like in, and you're like, you're not jealous, but you're like, you're jealous of that personality where you're like, man, I wish I could just be in. It's like they do stuff like trivia and stuff like that, and it's like, anybody's invited to that stuff. Anybody can go. You know what I mean? Like when I went to the party, it was like, of course, come to the party, like all that stuff. But it's like, you wish you can kind of come out of that shell a little bit, but it's tougher than people think. A time where I don't feel lonely is like when we have like meet and greets at our work, because then it's like, I don't know, sometimes it's easier to talk to strangers because then they're more or less just like asking you like, what's it like to do what you do every day? What's it talk. Like? And you're like, oh, you just flow, and it's just like easy. But I don't know. Like, I would say, like, I don't know the answer on like what it's like, how to like not be lonely, but I will say that being lonely is not always a bad thing.
I get that. For me, my advice is find something that you enjoy and do that. For me, I like working. We have a Patreon now that I manage. We have a YouTube channel that I'm managing also. I manage my social media. I play games. I write about games. I write reviews. And people are like, oh man, you work so much. But it's like, but that's what I like to do during the week. And then on the weekend now I have somebody special in my life and I spend time with them. Yeah. So I don't really have time to feel lonely. Yeah. So, And you're a good friend. So I feel like I can call you if I need to talk to somebody. And
No, like last night I got home at like 9 or so. And I just like was like, I wish Amanda was home because she wasn't home till like midnight. And I was like, I was feeling cozy. I'd just gotten home and I was like, I had hankering to make deviled eggs, so I made like all these deviled eggs. And I was like, I want to share these with somebody. Yeah. Like I wanted her to come home, and so I was just like hanging out by myself. And most of the time I don't mind. Yesterday I minded, but yeah.
I have to say this, though. The hardest, the most difficult period of loneliness I've ever dealt with is anytime you move to a new city or you move far away from a life you've established. Yeah. That is the hardest time to kind of get into that new flow, get into your new friends. And it's been proven that is a difficult time for most people. So
yeah, and that's still kind of where I'm at. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've only been here a year.
Yeah. It's tricky. So like, there's tons of Meetup apps, and Meetup is just a service where you can like, hey, 90 people are going hiking. If you want to join, go ahead and you can meet new people in your area. I did it
like
once.
Plenty of stuff happens. Like they all do this thing called like Tiki something, where it's like they all go and like hang out together, and they do lunch club and all this stuff. And Mark, you gonna go? And I'm just like,
I'm busy.
Not a prayer. Yeah. No way.
And then like Berkeley actually does like a huge board game meetup where people make their own board games or just bring board games that they like, and people just hang out. And play
that's what I'm saying is like
we're in a big city.
That's why I like our meetups like at work. Like people were talking about not to bring up games, but like a convention's coming up called GDC. Yeah. And we have this like big mixer in our office, and I'm like, I love it because you just hang out with all these people. Yeah. And like look at all these like really cool like indie games and stuff like that. But then at the same time, it's like on our home turf. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm done hanging out with 1,000 people, I get to go behind the little partition that they put up and be in our own little spot. And so that's it's like a comfort thing. Definitely. Like it's not necessarily people I don't mind hanging out with. Same with the Halloween party. If all those people were at my house, I would have probably had a great time.
Yeah.
But it's different when you're just somewhere else. You're like,
yeah, I get
safe
it.
spaces,
Yeah,
Dustin.
yeah. Yeah, this is a...
Take it, I didn't realize I was going there.
This is a real difficult question to answer, but I hope we've given you some ideas about how you can kind of combat feeling lonely, and I hope that, I don't know, maybe you're watching this show and you're feeling a little lonely. I hope you feel like you had somebody to sit here and talk with you about it, even though you're obviously people aren't here.
I saw this hilarious picture the other day. It's like what it's like hanging out on listening to a podcast, and it's like a poster full of people like having fun, and she's just like eating a bowl of cereal next to him. So hopefully that's what's happening right now.
I hope you enjoyed yourself.